I have talked to a multitude of business owners across the past few weeks, and just about unanimously, everyone is saying that business is down, regardless of what they are doing. Young people are saying that work is incredibly hard to find, especially good jobs. You can find, pretty shit paying jobs, but high opportunistic jobs are very hard to come by right now. All my friends, pretty much younger people that I see on a daily basis or even just meet occasionally, the job market is tough. All the business owners that I know are cutting back. They are trying to hoard cash, at least the smart ones, because they see that their business is down. Some people I've met, they see that their business is down, but they're saying this is when they need to spend more money to try and make up for that. Or sometimes it is the external issues that is making stuff go down, like everything that's going on in the economy due to one of the big reasons is it's not that a lot of people's businesses are down, but they were artificially propped up when they probably shouldn't have been. There were so many shit businesses that did exceptionally well because people were flushed with cash. I don't know about you guys, but I'm probably not going to pay someone to deliver my groceries or uh, to walk my dog for me. All these minuscule little apps and tasks that people are doing. Those aren't the businesses that I'm talking about, but I do know someone that I met who makes $30 million a year right now on dog crates. If there's a slowdown in the economy, guess what you're probably not buying? An expensive dog crate. I mean, great for this guy. I mean, he's crushing it. He's crushing it. But these people are seeing a massive slowdown because the retailers, they're really being squeezed up. And I'm really seeing this. One of my buddies, he does contract arbitraging with the big like tech companies. So a lot of these tech companies, and I don't know to the full extent, but let's just use that example. Let's say you're a tech company, you would post a job board. He has a team in Albania, so he would pick up those job boards, let's say for $45 an hour for a 4-week task. He would give that to a person in Albania for, let's say, $10, $12 an hour. He pockets $30 an hour from not doing anything. One of the first things that businesses are going to cut are freelance work. You are going to find a way to pay people that are already on your payroll to do anything. Because if you are not having a ton of profit coming in, you are going to cut back on the slack that you don't need. You're going to say, hey, if you're my employee, you are going to do this, or we're going to find someone else that can do it. So his work is slowing down. He's saying that he's trying to find some sort of additional source of income right now. I'm seeing this with everybody. So let's say there is this massive slowdown in the economy. What do you do if you have a business, if you have a job, and let's say you do get laid off? I mean, that's a shit or a really bad situation. Sorry. Uh, Sustainable lumber. I'm trying to watch my mouth and swear less. It is just a natural part of my lexicon, so I will try and dial it back though. But what do you do if there's a slowdown in business? A lot of my work is kind of freelance work. I work for free, but my results would slow down significantly just because uh, I usually just take a percentage of the profits I can generate for someone. But if business is slowing, I would be able to generate people a hell of a lot less profit. So I'm personally cutting back on my expenses pretty substantially. I don't really have any expenses. I have my apartment paid for when I'm staying in Arizona. Just all I really have to pay for is like food and gas, which is virtually nothing. So if I'm not taking any exuberant trips, then my expenses will be fine. But I would like to pick up some sort of additional source of income, just because I'd like some sort of fallback safety if the stuff hits the fan. Because I wish that it wasn't. I am a pure optimist at heart, even when there's been a lot of people calling for recessions very frequently. I think it's probably here, just about, just because I'm seeing this. Not like this. I'm not looking at charts and graphs and saying, "Wow, we are higher than where we were in 2008 or 2020." I mean, 2020 when everything was in a recession, or 2001, or pick a time period. You can find charts and graphs to show that we are worse now than we were then. But it's more so because I talk and I hang out with so many large business owners, because I am surrounded by people who are the employers. They are seeing their customers dwindle for the most part, almost unanimously across the board, regardless of the sector. I'm seeing every single young person that I see or talk to having a very hard time getting work. Every single person who's graduated college has no opportunity. They're sure they can get a job at the coffee shop, but that is obviously not the type of job that they want. I think that we'll have a tough few years, but I think that will provide a huge opportunity because a lot of the garbage businesses will probably go under. And that will lead a lot of leeway for someone to come up and pick up the slack. That would be at least if we had a free market, if the government wasn't going to bail everything out, which I desperately hope that they don't, but I do not put my personal opinions based upon what I think the probability of this happening is. I think if they did nothing in 2008, then the banks would have failed and we would have had a much more sustainable growth economy afterwards instead of bailing everything out. But I presume that most likely the same thing will happen. Not the small businesses, though. The government is not going to bail out your mom and pop businesses, my business owners that I know. Even if you're making $30 million a year, the government doesn't give a shit about you. They care about these huge businesses. So what does that lead to? Not good stuff. But that is an external thing that I can't control, and no one can. If business slows down, what can you do to prepare and to protect yourself? I'm personally hoarding a lot more cash. I'm cutting back on my expenses. I am trying to reduce expenditure from employees and not take on exuberant amounts of risk right now. I'm taking risk with my time, but not by making huge hiring decisions that are going to take a significant a portion of the income that I have coming in, just because I don't think, even if we're doing everything right, just because the consumers are dried up, I just don't think we would make it back. Which is why I'm really happy that I'm working with someone like Kenny right now, because he owns over 8,000 rental units, and people, they're still going to rent a house. And actually, in 2008, I'll tell a story for you guys and how he turned crisis into opportunity. In 2008, he obviously had a ton of rental properties already. He already had a massive business, but he knew that this was a once in a lifetime opportunity in 2010, 11, and 12. But banks in the US weren't lending. The problem was there was a huge opportunities, but the banks were terrified of lending, regardless of who you were, unless you were like Walmart or something. They didn't want to lend to small mom and pop businesses. They cut back on everything. I think a lot of people understand this. So what did Kenny do? The freaking genius that he is. He went to Canada because Canada didn't have a banking crisis. And he said, why don't you guys lend me money? These are the cap rates. This is the math that we're getting on these units. You lend me the money and I'll do it for you. So he did the same thing that you do in the US, but he just got offshore lending. And because of that, he bought literally thousands and thousands of properties from 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. When the banks weren't lending, he was buying everything for pennies on the dollar because he thought of a unique situation where he could arbitrage something that no one else was doing or no one else was thinking about because they were scared, but he saw the opportunity. It is genius what he did, and he built an empire off of that. So there's going to be those types of opportunities where there are humongous arbitrage or asymmetries in the marketplace where they just need to be taken advantage of. And I don't know where they are going to be because you won't really know until stuff has really, really hit the fan. But they will be there. And I will 100% be searching desperately for them. My business is definitely going to slow down. I'm completely aware of that. That is why I'm trying to create as much value as I humanly can now and gain my skill sets to where no matter what, people are still going to want to work with me. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about the externals, because there is nothing you can do. You can be as prepared as possible. You can make sure you are doing everything right, but it doesn't mean you're going to get a loan from a US bank in 2012 to buy a rental property, even if it's the best time to do it. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, it is midnight right now. I'm back in Boston for the weekend. My friggin' dogs got sprayed by a skunk, so they ran inside, got everything smelling awful. So I had to clean them with my all night. I'm exhausted. But I keep on having this reoccurring fear of the economic landscape. Every single person I'm talking to, I'm not talking to just random Mo shows. I'm not asking random people what they think of the economy. I'm not even asking anyone about the economy. I'm talking to business owners, seeing what they're seeing and what they're doing, and everybody's cutting back. That's going to make it very tough to get a first client. And working for free would be good. It's going to be a good opportunity to work for free for people, but I wouldn't expect pay from a lot of people. But if you're really a younger, hungrier person, it could be a good opportunity to work the landscape. And I'm actually very excited. I perform very well under stress, and I think there will be some outrageous opportunities that can set you up for a lifetime, like Kenny did. But I don't know where they'll be. We'll find out though. Anyway, goodbye.